Hi, my name is Shizoda, and this is the Shizoda and Friends podcast. If this is your first time here, welcome. The podcast focuses on highlighting the talent that comes from traditionally overlooked schools within the tech industry. A lot of our guests are CUNY and Brooklyn College students because that's where I attended and that's where most of my closest friends are. But the core philosophy is everyone deserves fair and equal employment opportunities no matter what school you come from. And if that resonates with you, subscribe, join our mailing list, and of course, join our Discord server. It's a little empty right now, but I'm there answering any questions you all might have. There's also a Calendly. I made my Calendly public in case any of you all need help. It is strictly for professional and technical uses, so please do not abuse. I will turn it off if it gets weird. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest, Sam, also known as Siam or Shahidul Rahman. Sam is a software engineer at Capital One. He's been working there since graduating from Brooklyn College. He is a transfer student from John Jay. He is an alum of CUNY Tech Prep and was a part of the e-board for Computer Science Club at Brooklyn College. We managed the club together and it was a lot of fun. If it's not apparent from the interview, we're really good friends. He's a funny guy, and I'm very excited for y'all to hear this interview. I hope you enjoy. Hi, Sam. Thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm also well. Happy to be here with you.
It's an honor. It's a big honor for having me here.
So let's just get straight into it. Sam, you recently started working at Capital One, and you've already got a raise, and you've been managing intern. What's your secret to success?
Just being a team that is short-staffed, and they let you pick up stuff that they can't, and yeah, that's pretty much the secret. But in all honesty, my manager had faith in me, so he assigned me with the intern project, and it just snowballed into pretty much overlooking the whole project at some point, and it's been fun. It was it felt like it was a 360 from where I was a year ago. Uh, we're studying at CTP, doing the basic like web development stuff, and from there managing three interns only a year after. It's been a ride.
Tell us a little more about what you do at Capital One.
So I work as part of the big data team. We basically process and extract features from raw trade line data from credit and make it consumable for different APIs, machine learning model, and decisioning platform essentially. So we're the team that uh, produces data that relates to credit card for all U.S.
That's
customer.
that's pretty cool. Is that something you've done before, or is this the first time doing it?
Absolutely not. I have never touched any of
No
the technology that
way.
we use today, or even heard of some of the things that I'm doing right now. So yeah, it's been a huge learning process for me. Just working with distributed systems and like clusters, job parallelization,
Whew,
all of that.
look at
Yeah,
you throwing around those hot terms. Well,
yeah. I mean, I did take classes that talked about it, and it sounded sexy as hell. But I wonder if I'll ever use them. And I'm doing that every day now, so it's exciting.
yeah, it sounds like a lot of really interesting problems. And it sounds like your team already entrusts you. It doesn't sound like you're just like a junior level engineer just doing some basic little work. They're giving you not only like the serious jobs, but also like letting you manage three interns. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was just as surprised as well. Like they entrust me with a lot of like new project or like new work that's been coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Business ask, I've I've been owning those some of those, and it's exciting to see that like people around me, have faith in me, and they know that I could deliver, and it emboldens me to like go the extra mile and do things that I'm not completely comfortable, but I know that I have the support system or the help and they're willing to help whenever needed.
Is this your first internship or have you worked anywhere else before? I mean, is this your first like job experience or have you had internships before?
Uh, Officially, not really. I did work for a startup for like a few months,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't call that like an actual experience because I was essentially writing some logs, log statement in
Logs.
already built code base. So basically, enhance like logging and monitoring for some API, and I wasn't really paid either. It was just
Oh,
kind of on the side. I just wanted to learn, and I did that for a few months, but I don't think that equates to any kind of like industry experience. Yeah.
interesting. I don't think I've ever heard you speak about this before. Tell us a little more about what this job is. How'd you get it? What was the job experience? Are the skills you built there helping you nowadays?
Uh, yeah, I never talk about it because it was like on the side, and I didn't really get much out of it because COVID hit and the
Oh,
startup kind of just tanked. And
ooh, that's
yeah,
not good.
so, but skill wise, yeah, I think I learned like how Datadog works, which was cool, but it was also like stressful because like I was also doing like full time school and work, and on the side I was doing this, and it just didn't like feel like an actual job or the things that I do today. It was nothing like that. So
Oh, why didn't it feel like an actual job? Because it wasn't paid?
that plus we never really met in person. Like I never even saw the person who was the founder.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was just a few video calls or like Slack messages on what I should do. So it was not engaging at all. It was
Interesting.
yeah.
But have you met your teammates at Capital One?
In person, no, because we're still fully remote.
Right.
But I do hope to meet them once we go hybrid, um, which will
Yeah.
be around November.
Okay. So, what do you think makes great interns? You've taken care of. I mean, not taken care of. You've managed three so far, right? And you've kind of been an
Yeah,
intern too.
exactly. I think for interns, like I found that the interns that are willing to ask, like reach out and ask questions or just ask for help or
Yeah.
be communicative, they're the ones that excel and like get efficient at their thing
Mm-hmm.
very fast as opposed to someone who would sit with the problem for maybe a day and then bring it up only like the next stand up. uh,
Mm.
they don't progress as fast. So communication is really like key, uh, because you're only there for a few months and you don't really know the ins and outs, all the quirks of the tool that's being used. So just a quick question through Slack would, save hours of your time.
Yeah. I mean, but do you ever find those questions annoying?
For me, no. I was also learning myself. Like every time I got asked a
Cool.
weird question, I went ahead and like asked a bunch of other people or went down a rabbit hole to get the answer. So it taught me as much as it taught the interns,
Yeah,
in a sense.
I have to admit I'm one of those people who aren't always eager to ask questions. Mainly because I don't know. I guess I'm just like stubborn. What about you? Do you have any trouble asking questions sometimes?
uh, do I have a hesitancy of asking
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, like or are you just
Uh,
always like ready to ask question, no fear, nothing like
so
that.
honest, honest answer. If it's something that I'm confident, like it's a technology that I work with, I'm compelled to like work with the problem, like try to figure it out myself, because I have too much pride to ask anybody else.
Felt
But if
that.
it's something I never, yeah. But if it's something that I don't own or it's like built by someone like few years back and I have no context,
Hmm.
me tracing like some weird bug or some weird behavior, I feel like it's a waste of my time. So I'll directly ask the person if available, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they usually could give you a direct answer that explains a lot, and you go on about your day.
Yeah. A lot of my hesitancy around like asking questions is did I do enough research on my own? Like, did I search enough, or is this something like stupidly simple? Do you find yourself like thinking about that? Like,
I I did, but then after a while, I just kind of gave up. I was like, it's fine. Maybe 2 out of the 10 questions I ask is like very obvious or I missed it, but
Yeah,
it's worth.
worth asking.
Yeah, yeah. I think
So,
that's one of the strong point for from my tech lead. He said that I asked a lot of questions and that he saw like as valuable. So,
what do you think makes great managers and tech leads, like leadership positions?
uh, someone who's compassionate and like who truly cares about your growth. It's not like just a monologue between your tech lead and you. Like he gives you a bunch of work and you get it done. Rather, if he asks you like whether the things that you're doing, like is it meaningful to you or do you understand what you're doing, like why we do things, these kind
Mm-hmm.
of conversation. So if you guys have that, I'd say like that's a good tech lead. Like it's the like the right direction. And me personally, my tech lead has been amazing, like phenomenal on that. Like he makes sure that the things that I'm like working on, I also like believe in or I uh, take pride in. And sometimes I even said like, hey, the things that I'm doing, I don't know what the value is or I'm not really feeling it. So he would switch it up and give me something else.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that was great. And
And this was.
availability too. Like if they're like they reply or are available for like 10 minutes at least a week
Mm-hmm.
just to go through what you're doing or good or bad. That's I'd say that's a good tech lead.
Yeah, and they were able to be flexible with your tasks and projects, even though you guys were on a team as small as 4 engineers.
Uh yeah, I yeah,
Kudos, that's amazing.
surprisingly. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
exactly.
It sounds like you really found a good team. Were you nervous in the beginning before you joined them, or even starting full time? Was that something you were nervous about?
Yeah, I was absolutely like uh just nervous as hell. Like I didn't know where I was gonna land. I didn't know who like what kind of people I was gonna work with, but it
Mm-hmm.
turned out well. But the sad thing is, I'm part of a rotational program at TDP, so eventually I'll have to rotate to another team after a year, and the next team is to be determined. So fingers crossed I get a team as good as this one.
Oh, wait, so this is a rotational program called TTP?
TDP, so Technology
TDP.
Development
Oh, oh,
Program.
oh, oh.
Yes.
I thought this was TTP, like the
Talent
CUNY Tech Talent
Tech
Pipeline.
Pipeline?
Yeah,
Tech Link.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's not like that.
The tongue twister.
So basically for 2 years you're learning, you're considered the new guy
Mm.
and you
Boot
could
camp.
basically play that card. Yeah. But you also still get paid like as a full-time employee, all the perks.
That's awesome.
They're there. Yeah.
Okay, so this is you're in a rotational program, and next year you'll change again. And is that the last year, or do you change again for Capital One?
Yeah, the next year would be my last year and my last
Mm-hmm.
team, so I will most likely stay with my second team indefinitely
Oh.
until or unless I want to rotate again.
Oh, so you do have the option to keep rotating if you wanted to.
Yes, for a third time, but that's only if I do really well in my performance and like they're happy with me and there's room for rotation.
Uh,
They'll allow, but yeah.
what are you looking for in a team? And do you have any tips on people who are also like in this like rotational program type? For instance, for Facebook, they also had a similar concept of boot camp and team selection process where you had to sit with a team and choose one.
So just go with the team that like excites you, like the things that they do that aligns with your interest.
Hmm. So
Obviously,
product, does it
yes,
excite you?
that's like I'd say the main thing,
Mm-hmm.
but also the people. But I understand like you may not
People.
have enough time to figure out whether the vibe in the team is suitable for you, but that's kind of a gamble. But I'd
Mm-hmm.
say like the main selling point for you should be like, does your interest align with what the team does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I know for my team selection process, I was also like there were like a few teams I had to choose between, and they were all so exciting. At the end, the thing that like kind of
Hmm.
I don't know, reaffirmed which is the right team was honestly the people, like the managers and the engineers I'd be working with.
So you had time with your team, like potential team, or
I Yeah, you get to sit and you get to choose a task with them, and you get to join in a few meetings. So you get to see their
oh,
code base, and you get to see like the culture.
that's sick. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I heard the Facebook bootcamp is a lot more fun if it's in person, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, sadly, pandemic.
um,
Uh,
are you
s-
excited to be in person again? It sounds like you are.
well, it won't be completely in person, so it's hybrid, and based on
Right.
what my team was talking about, it'll be only 2 days in a week. So I'm excited for that. At least I want to go out sometimes. I don't want to be cooped up at home.
Does Capital One have any cool office perks that you're excited for?
Free snacks, unlimited.
Unlimited and free.
Yes, ma'am. Pretty. Who doesn't like free food?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the cafeteria. That could also be free, or it's now like paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Things changed, but it used to be free also. Free food at campus. Um, yeah, just food.
Food is a great incentive.
It is. What about you? Um, what was the selling point
For my
of the
team,
basement? Yeah.
I actually like looked at a lot of different things. One of them was like the product, does it excite me? The other was a team, does that excite me? Three, like are the skills I'm building stuff I want to be building? Like for instance, I really don't want to work on a team that did Java. Like I was just not interested in developing Java skills. I wanted to stay away from that. All the languages are like it's whatever, but I was trying to avoid it. And another thing I looked at is like the career trajectory. So if you join a team for distributed systems and big data and parallelization, that's kind of like where your career path starts. If you join a web development team, that's kind of where your career path starts. I think it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be there forever, of course, but these are the skills you start to build early on. So I also looked at that. And going in, I knew I wanted to work at the Facebook Reality Labs, and that's kind of what I did. So that was a big part in choosing those teams. And I guess one other thing is I don't love big back end systems. I just think like it's just way too large to think about sometimes. Like I've worked on teams that were just like completely server based, and it was like from one service to another, and it was just hard to, I don't know, like imagine it sometimes if you haven't been in back end services
Yeah,
for very long. So I chose
I
like a
completely.
product team, and it's just easier to think about use cases and stuff like that.
I see. So like day to day, like what kind of things that you do? Like I know that you signed an NDA, so I'll let you disclose as much as you possibly can. Don't get
Yeah.
yourself in trouble. But
I'm
like,
a day to day.
what's the sauce?
Yeah, so Facebook has a really cool culture of work whenever it's best for you, and meetings aren't super important. So my day to day, almost every day looks different. What it usually consists of is a stand up. It'll consist on we work very cross. There's a lot of different teams you work with and a lot of different teams you have to coordinate with because this product is just really big. So there's a lot of different teams where we'll have like sync up meetings sometimes, and there's usually a time where I'm publishing what's called a diff, which is also just like a PR essentially if you've worked with Git
Mm-hmm.
more,
Yeah.
and I'll usually review someone else's code changes. And by review, what I mean is I'll write down questions that I can ask later. Or sometimes if I'm feeling brave, if I'm being a little risky, I'll comment it on the code review, like, hey, new question, like, what is this? What I've also tried to do, like, to learn a little quicker and learn faster and just learn more is jot down my questions, write down what I'm working on a task, on every single task, and kind of just start to build like a knowledge base. And I've started to meet one-on-one with certain engineers, certain tech leads, and my manager to just like have time to ask questions about things. So at one point, like I'm writing down in like one place I'm writing down all my questions, and another place I'm like writing down all these little hacks and these little information bits I'm learning, and in this other place I'm writing down what I'm doing on each task. So if I see like a problem, be like, hey, I've done something very similar. How did I handle it back there? I can just look at my tasks.
That sounds amazing. So basically, you're proactively reaching out and setting up meetings with these people.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's cool.
I feel like for me, and maybe you can also like let me know how you feel about it, is sometimes I don't like learning reactively, like when I'm stuck on a problem and I wish I already had the situational context. So I'm trying to like be more proactive and less reactive in my learning.
Mm, okay. I mean, that makes sense. I wish I did that more, but
I think because you can ask questions more, it's probably fine, but sometimes I just don't love asking questions, so I'll just like do more to avoid asking questions. To be fair, I still ask a lot of questions, obviously, as you can tell from me
yeah,
writing down my questions.
exactly. You just ask them all in batch, whereas I'm more like a ad hoc microservice deployment.
Ad hoc microservice nerd.
Speak for yourself, Miss Facebook Reality TV. Wait, what is it? I
Reality
don't know. What
TV
is
shows.
what is the product again?
It's
Reality Labs.
yeah,
I'm
Reality
sorry.
Labs. It's okay.
Gotcha.
If Mark, my friend, he's listening to this, he's gonna be very offended. Sorry you
Sorry,
had to
Mark.
hear that, Mark.
It's not that serious. Reality Lab. I mean, no one knows about it, so.
Facebook Reality Labs. Yeah, they're really cool. That's where they work on all the experimental stuff. Like that's where Oculus is. That's where Portal is. That's where the glasses, Ray-Ban Stories is, and yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff. They have a annual conference, I guess it's called the Connect.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it exclusive to the
No, no, no.
Reality Labs, or it's across whole Facebook, right?
I'm pretty sure it's only Reality Labs, but
Mm,
I'm not sure.
gotcha. No
I don't know. Don't tell Mark. I'm sorry, Mark. Look away. I'm a bad employee. Um,
worries. Oh,
yeah.
Mark, write it down.
Promotion in doubt. Okay, let's talk about college now. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you've adjusted to full time pretty well. What was college like for you?
It was college. It was a lot of dry work,
Dry
tests,
work.
assignments. I mean, for
What's
the
dry
most
work?
part, it was just assignments, getting it done. Uh, yeah, it was tiring. It was stressful at times, but it was also fun. The friends I made it more fun. Otherwise, it would have been, you know, just stressful and a lot of work.
Your tone in how you speak about college and how you speak about full time is just so much more different. Um,
I know, PTSD.
it sounds like you definitely are more passionate about full time and are enjoying that more than college. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. That'd be the right assumption.
Why do you think that's so? Is it because you get to choose your project and your tasks and you're doing like some challenging cool work, or
Yeah, I could say, yeah, you could say that. Also, like, in college, I feel like everything was theoretical, so I wasn't getting that, like,
mm.
that oomph.
Oh,
Uh,
the oomph.
yeah, it was just like everything was on paper. Like, I was questioning, like, whether I'll ever use these things, but
Are you finding that you're using these things? Was college helpful?
yeah, now that I am
Yeah.
working it for the most part.
What were your most helpful classes that you're really glad you
Uh,
took?
Ooh, there's a few. So, one about database, multimedia database. That was one of the most helpful class because nowadays I mostly work with databases.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so like
Shout out the
it talked
professor.
about You know what? I forgot his name.
You forgot the professor's
Um,
name? Oh, you're one of
I'm
those people.
Yeah, but he was an amazing professor. I don't know if you.
Not amazing enough for
Uh,
you to remember his name, apparently.
you know what? I think it's Wise, but like not Gerald Wise, but another Wise.
I've
He's a grad student from Germany, and he was
oh,
only teaching this class for maybe once or twice.
okay.
I don't think you'll ever meet him. So, but like he was amazing. Yeah, that class was amazing in and of itself. Like
What other
learned a lot.
classes we got?
Programming language. With Xiao, I think was his
Nice.
name. Yeah, is where I learned like a lot about compilers and like all the different
Sweet.
uh yeah, like programming languages like parses and like how computers understand syntax. That was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So like understanding like context-free grammar and like all that.
This was
Kind
both in your last semester, right? I feel like I remember
uh
talking to you about these.
yeah, those were my last semester classes,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the most enjoyable semester, to be honest. Uh, what about you? How was college like for you? You took a break year,
Um,
right?
I did. Well, no, a semester. I took a gap semester to intern, and I have no regrets
Ah,
about it.
nice.
Yeah. Did you graduate in 4 years, by the way?
I did not. It
Neither
took me
did I.
5 years because,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I
Me
transferred
too.
from John Jay to
That's
Brooklyn
right.
College.
You are a transfer student.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that more. But for college, I studied math. So, I missed on stuff like compilers and databases. And honestly, like a lot of the programming concepts I've learned are basically through internships, fellowships, and my own like courses I took and hackathons. Hackathons are great. So, I learned a lot
The
of
only
math.
I.
I just I don't know what to do with that. And because I'm not going to use it, I'm going to forget it by very soon. So it's questionable how much it did for me. I did meet a lot of really cool people, and I'm grateful for the not just students, but like the faculty and staff. And like we did some pretty cool stuff with the computer science club and all these other programs we're a part of in the hackathon. So
That's true. How
yeah.
about yeah? How was the club? You did club stuff, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, Sam, you're actually a really good interviewer. Do you want to take over?
I would love to. I could be a co-host. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
Could
listen.
hey, um, yeah, the offer stands. Like after this, I become a co-host.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down.
I'm down too. Yeah,
I guess we'll
that
have to
sounds fun.
figure out how like a three-way call would work.
Uh,
I guess it would be
you
the
just have to
same
synchronize
actually.
the three things now.
Yeah.
What is it?
Instead of synchronizing two things, it's synchronizing three. Okay. Look at us breaking the fourth wall. um. Okay. Tell me about transferring. Was that hard for you? What made you want to transfer? Was it hard, like being in a new school completely?
Uh, Transferring was not actually hard. Maybe the nuances like what form to fill out and who to talk to.
Paperwork.
Yeah, paperwork. Maybe that was a bit confusing thanks to
Mm-hmm.
CUNY, but the choice itself was very simple. I just didn't think like I didn't feel like I belong in John Jay. And no offense to John Jay, amazing school, like great students, amazing community.
But not as
It's
good as
just
Brooklyn.
yeah, I the people around me were just talking about
I was joking.
criminal justice stuff, like
Mm.
their major, which is wildly different than mine, and I started questioning myself whether, I was in the right place and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got to Brooklyn College, it felt like I was at home, like just the people I could connect with and the classes that I was taking, it just made more sense. So, yeah.
Um, how did you know to choose Brooklyn?
It was very close to my house. It's like
That's
10-minute
true.
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a no-brainer. And I was just biking around the campus, and I'm
Campus
like,
is
wow, this
beautiful.
is a really nice place, like from the outside at least. Uh, so I made the call. I was like, Brooklyn College it is.
So it was close to you and it had a nice campus, and you're like, this is gonna be it.
Yeah,
You
pretty
did.
much.
You
I
didn't look
also
at the
didn't like.
classes. You didn't
What
look
was
at the.
that?
You didn't look at the classes or the professors.
I mean,
Sam.
also one other thing, like my uncle, he's also a software engineer
Mm.
and he graduated from Brooklyn College. Um, I also wanted to be in tech, so it just fell in place. I knew that
Okay.
College had something to offer that I was
Bes-
looking for.
Got it. Got it. So it wasn't just the campus. You knew there were engineers that were coming out competently from
Yeah,
the school.
pretty much.
Nice.
Exactly.
Um. So I imagine transferring is a pretty big decision that people tend to hesitate towards. But it sounds like you didn't really hesitate on it. You were pretty sure like you had to leave.
Yeah, I just had to make the call. I was gonna do it after the first semester,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wanted to make sure that this was the right call. And I didn't want to wait too long, sooner rather than later. I'd
Mm.
rather transfer out like after first year than, you know, on my third year or when I'm almost graduating.
Yeah, I mean, the sooner the better, and you won't know if transferring out is the right call until you do it. And worst case, you can transfer again. Like, I know people who have transferred like 3 or 4 times, to be honest.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I've also like felt the pressure to graduate in 4 years, but knowing that most people don't has like kind of made me feel
Mhm.
like better about it because like what's the point of rushing to graduate if you
Yeah.
didn't learn enough or you don't have a job lined up? Like what's the point? Like you're going to be like you're graduated and then there's nothing to do next
That's
or you're
exactly what
still
was going
unprepared.
through my mind. Like no one's gonna ask you 20 years from now, like whether you graduated in
Mm,
5 years or 4 years. It
it
makes no
doesn't show up.
difference.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
show up on the diploma. No one's going to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why stress yourself out?
Did I'm actually curious, like, how's the tech community in John Jay? How does it compare to Brooklyn College?
I think it was like very little. It was very hard to find people that were doing like cybersecurity major because that's the only thing related to tech
Cybersecurity.
available. Yeah.
That's the only major they have related to tech?
Yeah. I think so. Because
Okay,
when I was looking up, that was the only thing that I found.
interesting.
Yeah. I enrolled in that. But it was very like sparse. Only hand counted people like were, you know, part of that major. And like even the people that were taking like intro classes to programming
Mm-hmm.
weren't exactly in tech. Like they were just doing this as an elective. They're also like criminal justice major.
So, besides classes, what
Hmm.
has helped you during college kind of prepare you for a full-time job?
Uh, I'd say I wanna say CTP, but I know you wrote that don't say CTP, so I'm not gonna say it. You know.
Sam. I didn't say don't. There you go, breaking the fourth wall again, and
Yes. So
um.
viewers, she forbid me from talking about CTP, which is a great program by the way, but I won't talk about
That's
it.
so bad.
For I won't
Wait,
talk about how
wait,
I was in there for a year and learned web development stuff. I just
I
won't.
didn't.
I'm sorry. But
You're horrible. Okay, okay, for the viewers at home, now that I have to explain this, thank you, Sam. I prepare the questions beforehand so that they can look at it, and that's just like a brainstorming thing so they understand what kind of questions I can ask. And a lot of the questions you hear me asking are stuff that actually isn't on the sheet, and sometimes I won't ask everything that's on the sheet. One of the questions I did have written down is, do you think anything in college helped you? And I said, don't just say CTP since not everyone would have access to CTP. You should also say stuff like, I don't know, like going to
ah,
hackathons because everyone has access to hackathons, or saying, um, like learning how to meet deadlines, like stuff that anyone can learn from college because CUNY is one of the underrepresented schools or demographics in technology field, but there's CUNY is just one system. And yeah, that's what I said. Although CTP also has been mentioned in every single podcast like episode we have. So the first one was with Chris, which you were teammates with, right? And
yeah.
Mark was, I think, in your year as well, or your class. Was
I
Mark in your
think he
class?
graduated a semester or a year before me.
Yeah, Tyler and I were on the first episode, and Roma. So 4 out of 5 people were on CTP, and we mentioned CTP. Last episode was Diana. We also talked about CTP, and now again we spent 5 minutes talking about
Well,
CTP, CUNY Tech Prep Program. It's amazing, part-time,
I
year-long boot camp.
maybe the viewers could decide, but I didn't really say CTP. I didn't mention it this time because you forbid me.
Oh,
So I'll
you
talk
said
about something else.
you
I'll
said
t-
CTP like 7 times
I
already.
I did not. I specifically said that I won't talk about CTP. So here I am, not talking about it at all.
Okay, what
Uh,
else besides CTP have you found helpful during your college time?
uh, trying to think.
So
I'm
difficult.
really looking at college right now.
No, just in
Trying to find
general.
something.
Okay.
Oh, in general.
Yeah, like for me, I feel like
Uh,
during college, meeting other people really helped me because those are the people I'd ask. Like, how did that interview go? You know, where are you applying? What fellowships? Like, for instance, like other college students were tremendously helpful. Classes were helpful. Not just, even though they were math classes, like, it taught you how to ask questions properly, how to like read a little quicker, how to meet deadlines. CTP was also like obviously helpful. Hackathons were helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, what helped you?
uh, I gotta go with my friends. Like, friends who were
Copycat.
on top of their thing.
Get your own
Yeah, pretty
answers.
much. I kind of just follow the path that my, smart friends paved. So, yeah, people who are on top of their shit, like Mark. Can I curse, by the way? On it? 'Cause
Sure,
I
go
already did. You
ahead.
could bleep me out. You could bleep me out. But
Oh
Mark
God.
Goldstein,
Yeah.
we
I adore
did
Mark.
mock interview together. That was incredibly helpful. Like,
Yeah.
calm my nerve. Like, it became second nature for me doing all these whiteboard interviews. That was very helpful.
Yeah.
Also, just uh, self-teaching. Like, I was curious and I like to fiddle with technology and frameworks.
Fiddle.
That was in and of itself like a learning journey for me. Like,
Learning how to
just
learn.
outside of school. Yeah, learning how to learn. Just
There you go.
uh, Stack Overflow, asking questions.
That's all. Do you have any more? Also, we should say Mark in general is great at interviewing. He knows a lot about interviewing, and he has
Oh,
a
absolutely. Yeah.
startup. All right, Codelet
Shout out
is
to that guy.
available
Hmm.
on both Play Store and iOS App Store. Codelet,
Exactly.
free plug,
Shameless plug.
shameless plug. We support our
Exactly.
friends here. So, well, tell us more about your experiences. You said you did a lot of leak code problems and the leak code grind. What was your
Yes, I did.
strategy for interviews?
What was that?
What was your
Uh,
strategy for interviewing?
at first, it was just do as many lead code as I can, following up,
Mm-hmm.
like leading up to the interview. But soon I realized that I wasn't I wasn't doing it right. Like, you can't do every problem on lead code. There are like thousands. So I started, uh, you know, grouping the problems, like what kind of problem it is. Because usually, once you solve once, similar problems tend to have a similar solution. So I started looking into that, and that kind of helped me figure out, like, during interviews, what kind of question is being asked. Is it an array problem, like a linked list, or, tree? Also,
Yeah.
like, iterate, like knowing how to iterate in a certain way, or like sliding window solution,
Mm-hmm.
or breadth first or depth first search will solve it. Just knowing how to use the techniques in different problems, that was very
Yeah.
valuable. Yeah, that
Something I
came well
told my
together.
something I told myself a lot when I was interviewing is there's only so many questions they can ask you. You know, like there are set categories and I mean types of questions, and there's set amount of data structures and a set number of algorithms you have to study, and it's doable. Like, you know,
Yeah,
if you kind of outline like a little syllabus for yourself to study, just go
yeah,
through it. You can do it.
you could do it. It'll take you time
Do it.
though. Like,
It does
and
take
to
time.
like remember everything all at once. Like, if you start, I mean, if you stop grinding after a point, like, you might just forget very quickly
Yeah. Do you think
all
you
that
were?
you learned.
Do you think you
No, no,
do
like, I
well?
don't think I remember maybe 70% of what I had, like, what I got down. at my
Yeah,
peak.
that's
Yeah.
called automatic garbage collection right there. As soon as you don't
Yes.
need it, gone.
Exactly. I
It's
have a
gone.
very efficient garbage
Me
collection.
too.
What I did last week is gone. Like I don't even know.
Unnecessary information. Nobody needs to know.
Exactly.
We're maximizing for SpongeBob quotes and puns.
Exactly.
Useful stuff.
My cache memory is very small, in the kilobytes, but it's fast.
um, that's cache memory for you.
Exactly. Like cash
Um,
money. That also don't stay with me. It just
the
disappears.
money.
Yeah.
um, yeah, interviews. For you, did you have a ritual before a certain interview to prepare
Did I
yourself?
have a ritual?
Hmm?
Not entirely. I was just like I used to meditate like 10 minutes before the interview, like sit in front of my
Really?
yeah,
Like all
just
cross
zone out.
legs and
Not
om.
like that, just like
Okay.
close my eyes and just zone out for 10 minutes right before the interview.
Nice.
Yeah, just to stop all thoughts and like the restlessness. That kind of helped. But if an interview goes south, like they ask you something that you just don't have an answer to, you'll feel the pressure. There's no getting around that.
No amount of meditating will help you with that one.
Yeah.
What do you think are
But what about you
skills
though? Uh-huh.
for me for
I was gonna ask.
rituals?
Yeah. Do you
I
have any
actually,
mantra? Any saying that you say to yourself before interview?
I don't have a mantra, but I actually had the complete opposite ritual where instead of like staying still, I actually would like throw a bunch of questions on a Google Doc and try to answer them. And
Wouldn't that just stress you out if you can't answer them like right before the interview?
well, sometimes, but
Okay. I mean, whatever works.
yeah, I would just throw questions and like kind of like just have it um just like closer, so I don't it's not like deep in my memory for me to like try to recall. Yeah, towards like the end of interview season, I got pretty desperate and I was like optimizing in every way. There was I even had flashcards for algorithms. I'd never done this before, but one of my friends used to do it for algorithms class we used to have, analysis of algorithms with Yanofsky. And at one point, like certain things weren't sticking, so I just started memorizing algorithms like the flashcard style.
That
So
sounds
sometimes
incredible.
sometimes I just look at the flashcards just to make sure I knew how a graph worked and how tree traversals happen.
Wha- Whatever works. If I had to guess, that friend who made flashcard, can I
Wait, maybe we
guess?
shouldn't say it. No, we probably shouldn't say it. She
Okay,
never,
fine.
yeah, she never
I think I
agreed
know.
to be publicized like this.
That's fair.
Sam is ready to declare war with everyone.
Gotta make enemies. That's how you stay on edge.
um, where was I going with this? Interviewing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any tips for people out there struggling to get a job, or just in the middle of interview season right now?
I'm gonna say one thing. Uh,
One thing.
be okay with rejection. Like, just get comfortable with rejection, because I feel like more often than not, companies just reject you off the bat. Like,
That's true.
I don't know if it was for you. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like they don't even send you back an email saying like, "Oh, we acknowledge your application," or like, you know, or you send a resume and they'll just in 2 days say that unfortunately we're not going forward with you. So those kind of emails, I know it hurts, but just get used to it, I guess. Treat it like a Tinder, you know, like you swipe 100 times, probably get one match, and that's all you need really.
That's true.
And
You
that's
only need one yes.
yeah, it's a weird analogy, but I
Yeah.
really like that.
Interesting.
works.
Comparing interviewing and applications with Tinder.
Mhm.
Tinder. Dating.
Yes. Are you on Tinder?
Works.
Zoda?
No, I'm not. Not on Tinder.
Should.
I should.
Please.
I should join
Yeah,
Tinder.
just to make friends. I mean, not just, for romantic ventures. You could just meet new people.
That's true. Tinder's always an option. Gotta
Yeah.
use technology. It's there for a reason. We also have OkCupid. We have what else is there for? I feel like OkCupid has been going really hard on ads in New York City. They're
Is
like
it
on,
really?
yeah, they're like on every bus, every train,
Oh,
every like building. They're pretty
gotta get
good.
on that.
They're pretty good on
Yeah.
marketing too. There's eHarmony for a long time. There's a lot of dating apps actually. Bumble, or is that for friends? I don't know.
No, I think Bumble is like women empowered, like dating app where women makes the first move. It's like
The
basically for guys, it's like the Roomba. You just set it free,
Roomba
and then yeah, it
vacuum.
basically collects Roomba vacuum. Like you don't have to do much. You just kind of let it sit.
What are you exactly comparing to vacuums?
Just like Roomba, you like let it sit, or like you let it do its thing, and it catches all the dirt.
I
Not com-
don't.
okay.
I
I'm
don't know
gonna
what you're
stop
talking about.
talking because I might dig myself a bigger hole.
I-
Anyways,
Maybe, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Sam's saying, but I don't approve of it. Okay. I have um another like section of questions I wanted to ask you, and that's about the fact that you're pretty active. First, can you tell us what you've done? I know you work out, you've done a bit of wrestling, you used to be captain. What other Oh, you bike pretty intensely, right?
oh, I do. Yes, I go from Brooklyn to Queens and Queens to back to
Big
Brooklyn. Like,
biker.
yes, it's fun. Like once you get into that zone, like you go into this trance, nothing hurts. You're
What?
feeling it every pedal. I don't know.
Nothing
It's like
hurts.
ecstasy. Nothing hurts. Yeah,
That's
first it
deep.
hurts, but then after a while it doesn't, and that's where you wanna be.
Who needs
You wanna keep
therapy when you have
pedaling.
biking?
Exactly. You just bike your problem away.
What else do you do for to keep active?
Uh, since pandemic, it's been hard. Like
Mm-hmm.
I stopped working out for a while. Like I didn't go to the gym, and that kind of snowballed into me just not moving at all. I tried a home workout, but it just doesn't work because you get lazy. You're doing something or you're watching TV and you don't want to get up and work out. it just makes you into a couch potato. But I'm going back to the gym again now. Like it's starting slow. Uh, what was I saying?
You were
What was the
talking about
question?
how active you are. Essentially, you got biking, working out, but you haven't worked out since COVID.
Yeah, but I got back to it like pretty recently, and it feels very weird. Like just working out in general when you haven't done it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like you know all these movements are alien to you. Like you haven't done it before.
You got to relearn how to use your body.
Yeah, or maybe it's just me. What
Um.
about you? I know that you picked up working out, trying to get swole. What's the progress on that?
Oh, Sam, you are so funny.
Thank you. I don't
I
get that a
Yeah.
lot, but it makes me happy.
Yeah, I was working out for a little bit. And then I stopped. And you're right, you just become a couch potato. Now I don't want to start again. Um,
Exactly.
well, okay, I will admit, I had very strict goals for working out, and I just feel like I wasn't progressing like quick enough. And
Ah,
some people say like, I just work out to be healthy and fit. Yeah, I support them, but that's not why I work out. I don't know. I wanted to be stronger. My goal was specifically to be stronger, and I worked out from about January to July. A little before then, too, like around December, I started. That's like 6 months, and I was working out either every single day or almost every single day. And then during school, I was working out like 3 times a week or every other day, and I didn't see enough progress. And I was gonna start working out 2 times a day, like that was the next stage, but I was just like a little
I feel like
demotivated,
let me
unmotivated.
give you some input. No, sounds like you were overtraining. There's something also called like you could undertrain, but
Is
you
that
could
a
also
thing?
overtrain. Every day of the week does not sound healthy. You
What?
need to recuperate and rest after every workout,
But I don't
right?
push myself that hard.
Huh. So maybe
Yeah.
could have switched it up, like more intensity but less frequently,
Yeah.
so your body could recuperate and
Yeah.
repair the damages.
How long have you been working out?
It's been an on and off like kind of thing. I started really like getting into working out ever since I joined the wrestling team. Like
This was in high school,
uh,
right?
that was in high school, yeah. So depending on like my availability and like my how much time I had each semester,
Mm-hmm.
I would, you know, either do it regularly or on again, off again whenever I got the chance.
Mm-hmm.
But it stuck with me. To this day, like, do some kind of exercise, whether it be biking or lifting weight or just jogging or going for a walk. Yeah.
What is your incentive to work out? Like, have you seen benefits, and why do you work out? Why do you continue to work out?
Nothing other than just the feeling of like being sore the
Oh,
next day.
you know what
That's
though?
it.
Yeah, there's something so nice about being sore the day after.
Right? Like,
Makes you feel productive.
it's
Like you did something right.
exactly, exactly.
I
That's pretty much. Yeah. Go ahead.
I do miss being sore. Like, I'll admit.
Maybe anchor onto that and go back to working out.
I could use that as motivation. Just focus on
Exactly.
the lack of soreness.
Don't focus on the result. Just, enjoy the process and being sore.
Yeah. I feel like for me, a lot of people say, like when you start working out, your brain is like working better, and you have more happiness. And I didn't honestly feel that when I started working out, but when I stopped working out, I actually do feel like I wasn't as emotionally stable. Like I'd fluctuate a lot more, and the emotional average was lower than when I was working out.
Mhm.
Do you feel something similar?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah?
Like, if I work out consistently, the feel good juice, the serotonin
The feel good
that gets
juice.
released, and I'm feeling it. Like, I'm in a
Yeah.
good mood. But ever since the pandemic, I do see like myself being cranky or just
Cranky.
not being as stable, or little things bother me,
Irritability.
which it shouldn't usually. Irritability. There you go. Yeah, it's definitely true. Like, working out puts you in a good mood, sets you up for success. Uh, impediments or obstacles doesn't feel as big. You
Mm.
get around it or have the
Mm.
resiliency to work work around it. Basically, that's true. Yeah.
I feel that. Do you have any
Yeah.
mentors? Or, yeah, do you have any
Mm,
mentors?
not not up till now. No. But funny enough, you talk about mentor. Your mentor Omar, who works at LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Is
shout
that
out to
correct?
Omar. Hell yeah, that's him.
Hey, I've been talking to him lately, and
That's awesome.
yeah, hopefully he'll be my mentor one day. I'm gonna
You
ask.
should
I'm gonna,
you should just ask. Yeah, he's
yeah, I'm
he's
gonna pop the
definitely very
question.
open to open.
Yeah, I've
Pop
been
the big
easing myself
question.
into, like, I don't wanna be too upfront and like scare the guy.
No.
So
I'm pretty sure he's. Wait, you've told me this before, and that was like a year ago. You still haven't asked him officially if you want to be a mentor.
I have not. Like, I
His
only
mentor.
recently started talking with him.
Okay, this is my turn to call you out. This man has been telling me about Omar, my mentor, talking to him, stealing my mentor for since the LinkedIn company visit, which was over a year ago. Actually, that was when we were president. We were running the club, so it's been a long time since you've been talking to him as a mentor.
Hey, I take my time shooting shots. Okay.
Mister,
Gotta
I'm
make
not
sure.
afraid to ask questions. Okay.
Well, this is a very special question. You don't want to ask in the wrong setting, and
The worst you can hear is no. And Omar, I told you, he would say yeah.
Okay, that gives me confidence. I will.
I'm gonna message him for you. I'm gonna message him
Oh
for you.
God.
And yeah.
That makes me look weak. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep myself.
You
You can
have
vouch
until
for
the
me.
end of week. You have until the end of the week, and on Friday, I'm gonna tell him.
That's a deadline.
Yeah, that's the deadline. And on Friday, I'm gonna catch up with him, and then I'm gonna be like, yeah, Sam has been trying to be your mentee for over a year now.
Don't
Please
say
just
a
ask
year.
him.
That just sounds desperate at this point.
Well, he knows I have a podcast, I think, so he'll
Will he
probably
watch
see
this?
this. I don't know.
That would be embarrassing. But if you're
Do you have
watching
something to
this,
say?
Omar, I would love for you to be my mentor.
So you popped the
Possibly.
big question on YouTube. Oh man. I feel like your answers sometimes really digress me from the question I was going to ask or where I was going.
I'm sorry.
Oh
I get
man.
derailed. I get
So
derailed.
okay, so
Mhm.
you will one day have a mentor you will have one by the end of Friday,
By
hopefully.
End of Friday, yeah. Assuming
Yeah.
that he says yes to me, or he says yes to you after begging or
Uh,
putting in the word, whichever comes first.
Whichever one comes first. It depends on how nice you are to me for the rest of the week.
Oh man, I've always been nice to you. Have I
uh,
ever done anything to wrong you or cross you? Because you are scary when you're angry, and don't wanna ruffle up the wrong feather. I'm just saying.
if you were my like co-host for the podcast, I feel like every episode would be so chaotic. Like,
Is that
oh my
wrong
god.
though? I feel like that makes it more interesting.
Moment of
But
awkward silence.
yes, cricket noise.
Scheduled.
Next question, please.
Would you ever start your own business or your own initiative, startup, or any business?
Here's my take on startup. I feel like everyone's doing it nowadays, and unless I have like a business plan or an idea that is like as disruptive or as
Mm-hmm.
potentially lucrative as like maybe Facebook or Uber, I don't think I'm gonna invest my time or energy in a startup because
I mean,
most of them go nowhere. I'm happy just doing my side project and learning new things.
wait, Facebook and
But
Uber aren't like that, like wild. MySpace existed before that, and even after Uber, like Lyft came along. It doesn't have to be super different to be a good
what I'm
startup
saying
or
is like
successful
they're the
startup.
first of its kind to like actually succeed, or like it's a disruptive idea. Like Facebook,
Was it?
Uber,
MySpace was
they
very
changed the game.
similar
I,
to
yeah, but like,
Facebook. Like
was
if
MySpace really
or
that big?
even if you think about like Snapchat, like when Snapchat launched, there were already Instagram and Facebook and whatever other social media platforms. They still launched and they did well. Think about like the
Well,
dating apps we just mentioned: Tinder,
hmm
eHarmony, Bumble, OkCupid. I mean, I don't know. Is it bad that there's so many similar objects? Do you think it's not worth pursuing if there's other competitors in the market?
it's definitely harder to like have a market penetration, like to go up against these already established
Interesting.
businesses.
No, that's
Don't you
valid.
think?
That's valid.
Yeah, like you work so hard and like build up only to fail like by a giant. I mean, you already knew your enemy. Like, would you wanna? Maybe you're built different. I'm just not as highly motivated to go against a Tinder or Facebook or Uber. But if it's something completely fresh,
Interesting.
I'll definitely want to try it.
What do you have any ideas for what that would look like?
Uh, as of now, no.
I guess if you did,
But
you would just stop working Capital One,
yeah,
launch that.
pretty much. Like, why would I be here then? I'd probably be working on my startup.
Are there any
But
books? Oh, sorry.
what
Go
was that?
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. One more thing. I will say this: if one of my friend has a startup idea that I also believe in, I'll probably will work on that. Like, I have no problem investing my time and effort on that if I believe and the idea is good. So, do you have a startup idea?
I don't. Not yet.
You don't. Oh,
If I
damn it,
did, would I be here?
thought you had something here.
No.
Maybe this podcast. Maybe this will be your thing. Podcast app?
Podcast app.
I don't know. Kind of like Spotify, but for podcasts.
Like
guess
Apple
that would be good.
Podcasts. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
SoundCloud, but for podcasts.
Oh,
Cryptocurrency
SoundCloud.
podcasts, blockchain distributed.
These are just hype words.
Yeah, just random words. AI ML podcast.
What would that even do?
Parallelization.
Everyone creating his own podcast based on genre?
Okay, books. Do you read books? Do you have any favorite books that
Okay, ever since high school, I haven't actively read books. I'm very lazy.
since
on
high
it,
school?
but I would listen to Audible.
Sir,
Uh,
5 years you haven't read a single book?
I do listen to Audible, which is books just read out by some other guy or gal. So, what about
Okay,
you?
that's fair.
Kind of.
That's fair.
I know you read a lot, so
I don't read a lot. I just read sometimes.
all I like see on Snapchat is you reading this or that, highlighting and boasting about it. So.
Oh man. Oh god, this is the most chaotic episode yet, and it's only third episode.
Damn. You gotta add a little spice to your podcast, you know? Can't always be buttoned up.
I do. I actually have some books here.
Hmm.
Uh, so I have like some books are for entertainment and entertainment
Mm-hmm.
purposes only. And if I'm not entertained by it, I just stop reading them. And they're usually like really light reads I can finish in like a day or whatever. And they tend to be YA and they tend to be fiction, young adult fiction or something like sappy romance, like something very lighthearted. I can't really read like dark mysteries and death and stuff like that. Not really my cup of tea.
Mm.
And for more serious reading, I've been reading philosophy. So I recently finished Seneca, which took me like 2 years studying Stoicism. And that was just because it was kind of boring. So I had to take a lot of gaps. And I mean, before having a full time job, it's just really hard to read because you're constantly like one exam after another, one interview after another, classes, clubs. Like there's just so much to do. And so Seneca took forever. And I started reading Emerson. And I'm on the second essay now. So that finished recently. I also read The Four Agreements, which is like Toltec wisdom essentially. That was a really quick read, and that was pretty good. I think some parts of it you have to like have an open mind because it's in a different mindset.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Yeah, I
Is there an
tried
audible version of that? I might
The
listen
Four
to it.
Agreements. No, there's no audible versions. You have to read the book.
Damn, I gotta put in the work.
Yeah, you gotta like open an actual book and read it.
Ugh,
Ugh.
people do that still?
um, Nah, there's definitely an audible version out there somewhere. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, the thing with fiction reading is it's if you find a good one, like it's hard to put down. So I sometimes don't read it until it's the weekend. For like
Mm.
fun, crazy weekend plans is to read a YA.
Getting wild with books and wines.
Books and what? Wines?
Wine, books and wine. I don't know. Is that what normal people do? Like read books and drink
I'll
wine?
ask
That's what I imagine. Like
I'll ask the normal person once I've you know
meet them.
as
Yeah.
soon as possible the next normal person I see. um what qualities do you admire in people?
Honesty. I think
Top 3.
it it's very rare. Top three. I gotta name three. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I don't know. Honesty is right now the only thing that comes to mind. Maybe hardworking. Yes, definitely. And
Okay.
third one. I don't know. I don't really judge people on that many criteria. Just
Okay.
yeah. What about you?
Honesty is super important, I think. I feel like kindness is kind of important too, like I don't love people who are mean.
Mm. Okay.
And I do think being brave is important because what's the point of being. Okay, I won't say what's the point, but I feel like it's a lot more impactful to be kind if you're also brave. And sometimes being kind means, standing up for other people or like protecting others and like you have to be brave for those kind of situations. Same thing with being honest. If you're not brave, it's really hard to be honest, I think.
Yeah. They go hand in hand. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciate people who are constantly learning. I think that's a really cool uh like
Mhm.
character, and that's something I aspire to do too.
Do you think you're almost there, or are you one of those people who constantly learn?
Yeah. Yeah, I love learning. And yeah, you do too. I already know you're a huge nerd.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I am. I'm also speaking for myself. I'm also a huge nerd. That's why we're such good friends. Two nerds in a pod.
That's fair.
Okay, do you have any last departing words to all the students who might be, I don't know, currently where you are? Just taking classes and trying their best, maybe interview prepping. Advice,
Um,
parting words.
um, I'm not that like deep of a guy, so but I'll say
Okay.
this, like you might think like at some point that like your life isn't going the way you want it to go, or you're going nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
or will you ever reach your goal? Just know that like it is possible. Everything is possible. It just like one of those moments. You just need those one or two moment, like one or two yeses from places that you're knocking at. It it won't come all the time, but it will happen if you're like persistent and you're uh you know you have your mindset for something. It'll come. Even from a school like CUNY, I never thought I'd be here today. Like maybe even a year ago, if you tell me that I'll be working full time as a software engineer at Capital One, I wouldn't believe whoever's telling me that. But it happened, and it could happen for you as well. It's just persistence and having faith in the process.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Yeah, no problem. You've been an amazing host, and the offer still stands. I will co-host, make your podcast slightly more enjoyable, if you prefer. Yeah,
I
think
stopped
on that.
recording.
Oh damn it! I wanted that. I wanted that in there.
I stopped recording my audio, so like my face is still there laughing.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sticking till the end of the interview. It was a lot of fun to talk with Sam, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you do think you should be a co-host, comment down below and let us know. If you like what you heard, give it a like. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. You can comment that down below, or you can email me, podcast@shizota.dev. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next month. Bye!